So him and I was at Walmart up on 2887 South Arlington Road. I was parked up front on the apron, and he was standing at my door talking to me, and a red SUV occupied by the people inside of it pulled into the parking lot, and he was adjusting his vest, and I just happened to be looking that direction at the time, and the two female passengers up front, I think, thought he was turning around to look at them, and so they both looked the opposite direction. And I said, hey, that was kind of weird. And they didn't have windows. They had a picket fence on their passenger side windows, the front and back. So he gave me the plate, and I ran it. And I was able to confirm that the female driver was suspended and had a warrant for arrest as well.
That's when I posted up across the street, waited for the vehicle to come out onto Arlington. Initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle, made contact with the driver who had the suspended license and the warrant for arrest. Placed her under arrest, detained her for the warrant, walked her back to my car, and then when I went up to the vehicle, we found the raccoon in the driver's seat with the paraphernalia. The raccoon had dug a hole into a sheets bag that was on the driver's seat as well. Inside of it were the meth pipes and the 7 bags of crystal methamphetamine. I was talking to the male and female. The male had contacted his father to come up to arrange transportation for the other female and the 2 dogs that were in the vehicle as well. And while I was doing that, I noticed the raccoon Chewy pop his head up. And when I turned to look inside the vehicle to make sure he didn't hop out, that's when I noticed he was holding a glass methamphetamine pipe. So I kind of talked to him about it and reached in, grabbed it, and then when I turned back, he had a second one in his hands. Reached in and grabbed that one and the sheets bag that I could tell that they were sticking out of, and that's when we located the other narcotics.
What are you thinking when you see a raccoon with a meth?
Not an everyday thing. Definitely not an everyday thing, but especially in Arlington, we do see some interesting things, but seeing a raccoon holding some drug paraphernalia was a very interesting part of my day.
How long have the two of you been officers?
4.5 years.
I was 3.5, 4.
Have you ever experienced anything even remotely close to this?
No. I cannot say so.
So this whole thing changes in an instant because of this raccoon. So what next? What happens next?
So once we secured the paraphernalia and the narcotics, we secured transportation for Chewy. The father was able to get a carrier for it. And then we contacted ODNR, and we've been in follow-up with the investigation into making sure that Chewy's safe and secure with the family that took him in.
With respect to the drugs and what else, the paraphernalia that was found in the vehicle, this now accelerated to a felony arrest, is that right?
Yes.
And tell me about that.
So with the weight of the narcotics, it was approximately 7.15 grams of crystal methamphetamine and 0.10 grams of crack cocaine. All of it was field tested positive. So it means it's going to be upgraded to a felony of the 3rd degree because it was twice the bulk amount in the state of Ohio.
Do either of you know what the laws are for keeping a raccoon?
We just know, as far as we know, you just have to have a special permit. It's got to be vetted, like a license, stuff like that. And at the time, they didn't have any documentation stating that, so we were just going to do a follow-up. And then, like Officer Branham said, the male's father that showed up with the dog crate, we used the dog pole to get it because we couldn't get it inside the crate. And then him and her mother left with the raccoon that day.
Which was described as a pet?
Yes.
A pet rat?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy said he had it 3 to 4 years, and it didn't look very old, so I would assume they had it since probably right around birth.
She told me she did not want to open the door because of the raccoon between her feet. At first, obviously, I thought maybe that was some kind of joke, and then I looked down, and sure enough, there was Chewy sitting at her feet, looking up at me.
On the other side of the floor?
Yep.
Were you nervous, or did you say you kind of reached in first to try? I mean, were you
So-
nervous about getting bit or anything?
Yes and no. Obviously, no one wants to be bit by any animal on the job. But Chewy seemed extremely playful. He was kind of just sitting there looking up at us. He was playing around with a plastic bag on the floor. He was going between the driver's seat and the passenger's seat, playing around. So the risk of being bit, I figured at the time may have been a little lower than a normal raccoon that one would encounter.
Should we seem kind of shocked, what's going on here?
It was a little jarring, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that she was taken care of, especially when the family that was holding him said that he was like a member of the family, that he was a pet, and how he was. I'm a big animal lover, so seeing any type of animal playing around always puts me in a better mood. So it was a very humorous moment, but when I reached back in, I wanted to make sure that there was no open residue, open signs of narcotics, to make sure that Chewy didn't inadvertently get contaminated with them.
From each of you, this apparently is getting nationwide attention. What do you make of that?
I guess as humorous as it is, having an animal, more of a rabid animal with drug paraphernalia, you got to more so think about the driver of the vehicle and, her needing the help that she's going to get, hopefully that she gets for her drug issue. Because it could have been a kid rather than a raccoon. So, you got to look at it that way. And I'm sure, I don't want to speak for him, but we've never came across any animals that have ingested any narcotics or anything. So it's hard to say that he did or didn't. We would assume he did not, by his reaction when we were there the whole time. But it's just one thing I guess we never expected to encounter. So.
Any future for Chewy on the force?
Right, it'd be our new mascot.
Do you know what's happens to him now, especially if they cannot produce any documents?
So we've been in contact with ODNR. We will be helping them to either rehome the raccoon to a safer location or to help them obtain the proper certification to properly own Chewy. So that way we can cover the base of making sure that Chewy's taken care of.
And once again, Chewy was released to whom?
The mother of the owner. As fun as it is to see a raccoon holding a meth pipe, it is very sad to see someone in that condition with that addiction that is battling that every day. So that's why we've been in contact with ODNR, because we want to make sure, obviously, the raccoon gets the help, but that she can get the proper paperwork that she may not be able to afford or obtain because of her current situation.